You're 16, sweeping gravel off a flatbed trailer for your uncle's grading company in rural Ohio. $12 an hour, paid in a check that bounces once before he makes it right. 31 years later, you standing in a glass-walled conference room in Columbus, signing a purchase agreement that hands your grading company to a national contractor for $58 million. Between those two moments sits a trade that runs on hand signals, surveyor's stakes, and machines that cost more than most houses. This is every level of being a heavy equipment operator in America and what it actually costs to climb. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The Yard Hand. You're 16. Your uncle's outfit grades driveways and house pads for a builder putting up 40 homes a year outside Dayton. He doesn't have a real job for you yet, so you grease Zerk fittings on a 1998 Case 580 backhoe until your knuckles bleed. You learn the difference between a flat-tip screwdriver and a punch the hard way, by using the wrong one. The first machine he lets you touch is a Bobcat T190 track loader parked at idle in an empty lot on a Saturday with nobody around. He shows you the two joysticks once. Left hand steers, right hand runs the bucket. You lurch it forward, overcorrect, and clip a portage on hard enough to tip it. Nobody was inside. Your uncle doesn't laugh. He cuts the engine, walks you through it again at half throttle, and doesn't let you back in the seat for 2 weeks. By the end of that summer, you're trusted to skim grade a backyard for sod and to load mulch without spilling it on the customer's new driveway. He pays you in cash some weeks, check other weeks, and never quite the same amount twice. You buy your first pair of steel toes with your own money. You're proud of them for exactly 9 days, until the left one splits along the seam from standing in wet clay. Level 2. The Apprentice. You're 19, and you've signed an apprenticeship card with IOE Local 150 out of Chicago, one of the largest operating engineers locals in the country. Starting wage is 60% of journeyman scale, which works out to about $24 an hour, with health coverage and a pension contribution stacked on top. Money you don't think about yet because you're 19. The apprenticeship runs 4 years, a mix of classroom hours at the Union's training center in Wilmington, Illinois, and on-the-job hours logged on a card your foreman signs every week. Your first real machine is a Caterpillar 305 mini excavator on a storm drain job outside Joliet, digging a trench for 18-inch corrugated pipe. The journeyman next to you makes you call 811 yourself before every dig. 3 business days out, no exceptions. He tells you about a guy on another crew who hit a fiber line and cost his company $40,000 in a single afternoon. You learn to read a grade stake before you trust it. Cut 0.8, the stake says, and you check it 3 times before you believe the number over your own eyes. Halfway through the second week, the bucket catches on something that isn't supposed to be there. You stop. Your foreman climbs down, brushes the dirt back by hand, and finds an unmarked gas service line the locator crew missed. The job shuts down for the rest of the day while the gas company comes out. You start photographing every locate mark before you touch a shovel to it, the way some guys photograph their kids. Level 3. The Journeyman Operator. You're 25, journeyman card in your wallet, full scale now at $43.10 an hour, plus benefits. On a heavy union job, another $20 or so an hour goes into pension and health fund contributions that don't show up on your check, but show up everywhere else. The machine is a Komatsu PC290 excavator, 65,000 pounds, on a sanitary sewer extension for a new subdivision. You're installing 30-inch ductile iron pipe, 12 feet down in spots. You set the trench box, bed the pipe and crush stone, and backfill in lifts the inspector checks with a nuclear density gauge every single pass. The GPS machine control on the cab post shows you the design model in real time. The bucket tip tracked to within an inch off the site's base station. You stop watching the bucket with your eyes and start watching the screen. The guy training you has run iron since the Clinton administration. He tells you the joystick has a feel before the screen ever catches up, that the hydraulics talk to you if you let them. He's right more often than the screen is. Thursday morning, you swing a loaded bucket. A laborer in the trench drops his shovel and dives for the wall. You catch the motion in your side mirror and stop the swing with 2 feet to spare. You sit in the cab with the engine idling for 10 minutes before you climb back down. Nobody says much. You start parking at the far end of the lot, away from the new apprentices. The way the older guys always did, and you never understood why until now. Level 4, the lead operator. You're 33, total compensation around $115,000 a year with overtime and per diem on the out-of-town jobs. That's $90 a day on top of base when the project pulls you 4 hours from home. The machine is a Caterpillar D8T Dozer, 85,000 pounds, pushing dirt on a 60-acre highway interchange outside Columbus. You set the bench at the cut face, 3 feet per pass in stiff clay. You run a crew of 4 other operators feeding a fleet of articulated dump trucks in a loop that never quite stops moving. The cycle times get tracked automatically and printed out for the superintendent every morning, which means everybody knows by 7 a.m. who ran light the day before. You learn the machines are the easy part and the people are the hard part. The surveyor hates you because your last cut left him resetting 2 stakes. The dispatcher hates you because you radioed 3 times for a lowboy that was already on its way. You eat lunch alone in the cab most days because it's the only 20 minutes nobody needs anything from you. Then the radio crackles. A 19-year-old running a skid steer on the fill side rolled it off the edge of an unfinished lift. He walks away with a broken wrist and the machine doesn't. You take his shift for the next 2 weeks on top of your own because somebody has to. You stop saving your pay stubs around then too tired to bother filing them. Level 5, the owner-operator. You're 41. You buy a used Komatsu PC360 excavator and a Volvo A30 articulated dump truck with a loan you co-sign against your house. You rent a half-acre yard on the edge of town with a chain-link fence and a single light pole. Your first contract is a $900,000 side package for a strip mall. It's subbed under a general contractor who knew you back at level 4 and decided to take a chance on you. A surety company underwrites a $1 million performance bond based on your CPA-reviewed financials. That's a sentence you didn't understand 6 months earlier and now read every line of. You take quantities off the plans yourself. You price the dirt by the cubic yard, add fuel, labor, insurance, and a profit margin you're terrified is too thin. You win the bid by $14,000. The geotechnical report missed a pocket of soft clay under the parking lot's northeast corner. You hit it in week 2. You write up a change order for unsuitable soil at $22,000, and the architect won't sign it without a fight. The general contractor backs you the way you'd have backed him at level 4. The architect eventually signs. By 47, you have 5 machines, 12 employees, and $3.1 million a year coming through the company. You have a bonding ceiling that lets you chase jobs you couldn't have touched 5 years earlier. You read the personal guarantee on your equipment financing carefully for the first time that year. You'd signed 3 of them without reading past the first page. Level 6, the exit. You're 58. A regional contractor that's been buying up grading companies across the Midwest puts an offer on the table. $58 million, most of it cash. A chunk of it rolled into stock in the parent company. A 3-year agreement to stay on and run the operation through the transition. Due diligence runs 4 months. An accounting firm goes through 5 years of your books. An equipment appraiser walks your yard machine by machine with a clipboard. It's the same yard you used to unlock yourself at 6 a.m. The deal closes on a Tuesday in October in a conference room in Columbus you'd never set foot in before that morning. The wire hits your account that afternoon. The next morning, out of habit, you drive past the yard at 5:45, the time you used to open it for 30 years. The gate code still works. You sit in the cab of the same PC360 you bought at level 5. The first machine that was ever really yours. You run the joysticks with the engine off for a few minutes before anyone else shows up. You don't tell anyone you did it. The kid sweeping gravel off a flatbed at 16 is closer to the man signing the $58 million agreement than he is to the laborer standing next to him in the trench at level 2. The trade looks like it gates on the apprenticeship card, the union hall, the journeyman test. It doesn't. The real gate is a surety underwriter you've never met deciding on a Thursday whether your numbers are strong enough to bond your next job, and an equipment appraiser who knows the resale value of a 10-year-old excavator better than you do. The path from $12 an hour in cash to a $58 million wire transfer runs through more risk than most careers ever ask anyone to take on. It runs through more machines than most people will ever sit in. On a shelf in your home office sits a small model of a Case 580 backhoe, the same model your uncle taught you on, next to a framed photo of the day the grading crew topped out the highway interchange. You still have the steel toes from that first summer, split seam and all. You never threw them out.